Good evening, everyone. Hope you're well. Sorry for the slight delay. Please raise your hand if you have a question. We'll start with questions from English media, followed by any questions from Spanish media. Someone start, please. Start with Vinny.
Beneficial do you feel it's been to manage the minutes of the players the way you have done, and ultimately, potentially, how much of an advantage could that give you, particularly when you look at the injury issues facing Real Madrid as well?
We play 11 against 11 tomorrow. Of course, when you have everybody fit and we play in a lot of competitions, a lot of games, of course it's better to rotate, fresh legs, fresh mind. But tomorrow's another one. So different competitions comparing Premier League or FA Cup. So first leg for the 2 games and try to get a good result.
Hi Pep, you know how much of an impact the crowd here can have on Real Madrid when they play well. How important is it for your team to remain focused tomorrow and not get the emotions kind of get the better of them?
The emotions come when you play bad or the opponent is better. And after the emotions can be influenced. And so it's not the first time we are here. We came many times, most of players know it, and try to... This kind of competitions, that's so important. You never know what is going to happen, but for sure, definitely cannot happen good things if you are not who you are. It's impossible. You have to face the game, face the opponent in an incredible respect, but looking his eyes, I said, okay, so this is who we are as a team, and you have to do it. Well, maybe you are lucky and go through, but the next one you will not be lucky. So you have to do who you are, and that is the only intention, that when you play in a bigger stages and being against the big teams, and knowing that, of course, we'll be in 180 minutes moment for the both teams, and as much you control the bad moments or the good moments of them, will be better.
Hi Pep, you've got 2 sort of new players in your squad with Guehi and Semenya. They'll be playing their first Champions League game. Obviously a big occasion for them. How much of a difference have they made?
Always in life there is a first time. It's players like arrive this transfer window with 25, 26 years old. As quick they start to leave this kind of situation, better will be for the future for this club.
Pep, you came here last season in the playoff and Real were the better team. How different does it feel this season coming back with this group of players and expectations that you could get through to the quarterfinals?
Yeah, definitely we arrived better in terms of we have the squad. Last season we arrived a lot of fatigue with a few players available to compete in that moment, but when you play against that teams that they have an incredible experience for many reasons, I would tell you tomorrow, especially next Tuesday night after the game.
Elizabeth here from the BBC. Arbeloa told us in his press conference earlier on that when it comes to playing against you and Manchester City, we can always expect a surprise. You always have a surprise up your sleeve. So is there anything that we can expect tomorrow night?
A lot of surprises. It's the first time we play against Alvaro, so I don't know. So no, honestly, it's no surprises. So I think we know each other. He knows us. Of course, there are some adjustments we have to do for the quality they have, but no surprises.
Hi, Pep. For lots of teams that come here, there's a fear factor about coming to the Bernabeu with the fans, you know, the team, the players that they have. But you've been here so often. Has that fear factor worn off, do you think, for your players, that you're so used to it now that it's not a factor anymore?
Yeah, but it's the same. We are not able to handle this situation when we play in Anfield or play in Old Trafford or Emirates, Stamford Bridge or Camp Nou, Bayern Munich. There's no news. You have to leave that. Or PSG in that moment, that is the last champion. So it's try to distract. And there's a football game. Of course, honestly, it's better to be here than not be here. I prefer to be here than don't be here. I prefer to come into the stadium to play last 16. Because that means we are in the more or less the elite of the Europe. Like this club, I said many times, 12, 30 years ago, never was there. So as much you are here, as much you play that games, for me, myself, is always a learning. For the new players that we have, always experience for the future. And of course, we want to go through. Of course, we are going to give everything to win the game tomorrow, to go through next Tuesday, because we want to continue. And this is the way you have to approach the game.
Hi, Pep. Hello. You just said no good things come unless you are who you are as a football team. How would you describe your football team? The identity of it?
Newcastle game define who we are.
Meaning?
Watch the game. Define the team, like we want to be proactive to regain the ball. When we can attack quick for the quality they have, we have to do. Otherwise, drop the team. Don't make many mistakes, like in this competition, punish you a lot. Drop them and attack in consistency again and again and again. And when regain the ball, recover as quick as possible. Is, I think, what defined that team in the last 10 years, and up and downs. You cannot be during 10 years all the time being perfect. And we restart with the new players 2, 3, 4 times since 1 decade. But the intensity, I think, defined a little bit what happened 4 days ago. That is what I think the players live it, and I insist many times. So when we were 2 or 3 months ago, and we start, guys, we play today to prove ourselves how is the way you have to play to arrive in the last stages to compete against good teams. Because we have 67% of the players, a new one this season. And it's okay, we have to play, I don't know, November, December, January. We have to win that game, is important, but we have to prove, we have to play in the way, we have to visualize and see, we are able, we can do good things. We can do to arrive in these stages, be aware that we can do it. Otherwise, we'll be next step, and next season we'll be back and we'll do it again. But once we are here, we have to prove ourselves our best. Otherwise, I mean, for my experience, arriving in finals, Champions League, on semi-finals, if you are not who you are, it's more difficult. You can be lucky, yeah. In this competition, it's not 38 games like to win the Premier League or the league. I have to be so regular, consistent. In this competition, sometimes you deserve go through, it don't happen, and sometimes you play really, really bad and you go through. Because football is unpredictable many times. But you have to try to, you're the tickets, to deserve. I want to deserve to be in next round. And the only thing I had the feeling to deserve to be in next round is being who you are. So it's the only chance.
Pep, a little bit. I want to know a little bit more on what you're saying. So you said many times that as a team and as a club, you have to grow to deserve to be in the next round, to win competitions. What does that mean as a club? Learning what? What is it that you have to learn?
About what?
To be able to compete better, that experience that you're talking about.
Play better than the opponent. In a football game, there are a lot of factors. Today, set pieces of modern football, especially in Premier League, is an incredible weapon. But play better than the opponent. Sometimes you play better, you are not. Sometimes you play, as I said before, you don't play as your match, and you go through. But always I try, to say, okay, and it's not easy because my feeling, sorry, but in Barcelona time, when I was managing Barcelona, I always had the feeling that we were. In Bayern Munich and Man City, never we were who I think we supposed to be. That is always my feeling at times. And always I want, when I come here, or when I went in the past Barcelona less times than here, or in Munich, or in the bigger stages, on Anfield, for example, with Jurgen when we play in Champions League, try to be ourselves. Try to face the opponent and don't look much in the consequences. If you are out, we are out. Congratulate Madrid, and next season try to be back. But at least go out is because you were who you were. This is always my concern in the biggest stages, or when I arrive in March, April, May, when you arrive in the competitions, in the finals, semi-finals, is try to impose. Sometimes it's not possible, let me be clear, because the opponent is better. Or you cannot impose what you want to. It's possible, can happen. but at least try it. Just try it.
Hi Pep, you just said there about you had sometimes the feeling at Bayern and at City that you weren't quite the team that they could have been. When did that change at Bayern and at City? When did you think actually now we are who we can be?
I think when the year that we won the final, the Champions League, playing not a good final, for example, because the first one, I'm pretty sure you arrive in the same generation 2 or 3 times will better. You need to experience that. It's difficult to arrive in the first time and winning, but in that team, suffer experiences in the past that helps to grow up. Losing here in the last minutes, or playing good against Tottenham and being out in quarterfinals, or many games like we were outstanding and really, really good, we're not out, is something you have to live. To arrive in that moment, I said, okay, but now there are a lot of players who didn't play that, and we see how we react, how we behave.
Take some questions from Spanish media, please. Just behind here, gentlemen. Thank you.
Hola, Pep. Abraham Romero.
Hi, Pep. Abraham Romero for El Mundo. In December, you were here. In reality, Real Madrid was different. Xabi Alonso was the coach. Now it's Alvaro Arbeloa. And you gave us an answer that was quite eye-catching, you say. You said that he had to pee with his own. So, Arbeloa is playing... He's at the top elite for the first time. What recommendation would you give to Alvaro? Well, you usually tell this to people that I've lived with. I have played with against Xabi, but I've never played with Alvaro. So you usually give advice to people that you know. I'm no one to say anything to Arbeloa. I had 2 amazing years with Xabi, but I haven't got any kind of relationship with Alvaro. Hi, Pep. Anton Mena for Cadena Ser. I don't know what you think about this Real Madrid compared to the one that you faced in December. Well, similar things, I would say. Every single coach has his own way of acting. Of course, Real Madrid with Xabi Alonso is different. We had Bellingham, or they had Bellingham. They didn't have Mbappe. Real Madrid is always Real Madrid. You know what I think about Real Madrid. I truly respect them. And there are just nuances. Doesn't matter how many theories we can have. This depends on the players, period. Hello, Pep. Ruben Canizares for ABC. This is your sixth playoff against Real Madrid and Manchester City. You've seen many different situations against them. I don't know if these 7 players that are off this irregular season that Real Madrid is suffering, this change of the coach, maybe this is the most unbalanced playoff that you've lived against them. Well, we'll see next Tuesday. For example, last season we were performing quite poor in terms of mood, in terms of players that couldn't play, and see what happened. I won't say anything against this club or the coach or the players. I know how difficult this competition is, and for Real Madrid and for any other club. For example, if I play against any other team that is in this round, Bayern, Barcelona, Atletico de Madrid, they're all very tough teams. Yep, Diego Plata live for El Chiringuito Twitter. Without Bellingham, without Mbappe, I don't know if you have any idea, any player in your mind to stop Vinicius and these counterattacks that you've suffered sometimes. Yeah, we used to have Kyle Walker. Of course, it's a constant threat. We'll try to stay together, especially with the ball. We'll try not to lose the ball very often, and we have to take our motorbike and to start running. That's it. Sometimes it doesn't matter how much you control it. There are things that, if he can find that pass with Valverde or Alexander-Arnold, if he can find the space, there are things that will be difficult to control. But we'll try to impose the way we play, and we'll see. Let's see how it goes tomorrow. Hi Pep, here's Sergio Eras for El Desmarque. Well, Mbappe won't play tomorrow. I don't know if you know that here in Madrid a lot is being said about the fact that he has been in Paris recovering from his injury. I don't know if you knew about this. I would like to ask you because he has asked for a second opinion. Maybe he doesn't trust Real Madrid doctors very much. What do you think about this second opinions? And if you would allow one of your players to go to his country in the middle of the championship to get a second opinion or to relax and to prepare, is it really important? Do you think that my opinion is important about Mbappe's recovery? He has been to Paris. I mean, he was not there alone, by the way. Are you really interested in my opinion? It happens in our club too, in every single club. And I think that this is not underestimating anyone. To be honest, I'm no one to give an opinion about this. Hello, Pep. Melchor Ruiz for Cadena Cope. How are you doing? Fifth playoff in a row against Real Madrid. You feel almost at home here. I don't know if you are very tired, if you are maybe bored, or maybe it's the best time for you because you're in a positive dynamic and Real Madrid has a negative dynamic, or maybe this doesn't have anything to do. Well, I can't think about how Real Madrid is playing. I don't see how they train. Of course, I've watched some games yesterday and the day before, but I don't know their reality. Of course, I want to think that it's going to be us like in the last games. We've done things very good. We've done things not that good. And I want to insist on this. We have no other choice. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Maybe you have a plan in your mind and maybe things go different. But yeah, it's quite many times. The raffle has been quite good, I would say. They treat us very well. We eat very well. Of course, we'll have very good dinner today, and tomorrow too, and we'll have to prepare the game. And we know that we have to give our top performance so that we can get to the second leg with our people, with our fans, and let's see if we can move on.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, same process as before, please. Please raise your hand if you have a question, and we'll take questions from English media first, followed by any questions from Spanish media. Gigi will answer in Italian. We'll start with Vinny here at the front. Thank you.
Now, Alvaro Arbeloa said to us earlier today that he still sees Madrid as favourites over the tie. How do you see it, though?
Ma sì, sicuramente è una delle squadre favoriti per la vittoria finale della Champions.
I'm sure that it's one of the favourite teams for the Champions League final. Well, history speaks by itself, and they are quite used to playing these kind of games. However, they will find a team like us in front of them, and we really want to win. We really want to move on, and we really want to surprise them. So they will find a team that is really hungry, and we will want to fight until the end. We know perfectly the atmosphere they will find in Bernabeu tomorrow, and it is very important to manage some situations because there will be a second leg. So we will have 2 games to manage with different situations, and we'll have to be as calm as possible. We'll have 2 games, one here, and the next one will be Manchester at home.
The Champions League and the style of football is slightly different, but we don't get a chance to speak to you too often in England. So I'm just wondering, what's been the biggest adaptation for you since you moved to the Premier League? What have you had to get used to the most?
Ma io penso che
Well, I think that feeling with my teammates, because in other aspects, I always do what I know how to do the best, to parry, to be at the goal, and I'll try to do my job as good as I can. And I think that the feeling with our teammates is the most difficult thing, because you need to understand them. You need to understand how they move. You need to understand how they perform. But regarding the rest, well, it's been quite easy. Of course, thanks to all of them, thanks to the team, thanks to the coach that has really made me feel at home. I think that I've been in Manchester for many years, and this has been my most important victory, and I'm really more than happy for it. And right now I feel really good. I always try to give my best. I always try to help my team, and I try to do everything that I can in order to win as my other teammates.
Hi, Gigio. The competition with PSG last season, do you see this City team as potential winners of the competition this season?
Ma io penso che ci sono.
Well, I think that there are some teams that can make it to the final victory. This is what happens in Champions League. There are many strong teams, many tough teams. And if we speak about last season, before the round of 16, nobody thought that PSG could be a strong candidate to win the final, but things can change overnight. It depends on the timing, it depends on how fit the team is. So I think that we need to be able to manage some situations properly. And right now we are about to play games where you're either in or out. So you need to be able to manage things properly, because you have two games, first leg, second leg, and sometimes you maybe don't have to put things at much risk. Maybe you can make less mistakes, because you know that every single detail could make the difference. And I think that in Champions League, details are everything. They really make the difference. How able you are to manage situations and to make as few mistakes as possible. But of course, there are many teams that could be candidates to win this Champions League. We try to move on. I will try to make it to the end. But of course, there are very strong teams that will do the same.
Hi, Gigio. It's your first year with Man.
Hola.
You have so much experience. I just wondered, are you a loud person in the dressing room? Have you come in and spoken about your experience and helped the players around you, because it is quite a young squad? And do you feel like one of the leaders in the team already?
Sì, infatti devo ringraziare loro perché.
Well, in fact, I have to say thanks to all of them, because Bernard, Ruben, Rodri, every single leader of this team has welcomed me very, very well, with their arms open, I have to say. And they have allowed me to feel as part of the team, to feel at home. This is something paramount for a new player, because without any kind of doubt, it was not easy at the beginning to change everything, to change the city where I lived, to change the team that I played for. And I have to say that I feel very well. We have many young players, and without any kind of doubt, I can give them a hand. I'm trying to help them as much as I can with some situations, and I feel that I can really help them out, because I have a great experience. I'm young, but it's true that I have experience, and I think that I can give them some advice to the players that are starting to face this kind of games. However, I think that we are a very well balanced team, because we have amazing players, we have great names that have won many titles, and we have very strong young players that are growing and developing that can give us a hand. In fact, they are giving us a hand throughout the season. And the older players, so to speak, are helping them out with their experience.
Alex Ashmore for Sporty. This might be an obvious question, but is there maybe a feeling of relief that Kylian Mbappe might not be playing tomorrow or won't be playing tomorrow? Thank you.
Io sicuramente Kylian.
Well, there's no doubt that Kylian will have I've been lucky enough to play with him, and he's one of the most amazing players in the world. He's a great talent, and as a goalkeeper, not facing this kind of players is, or can be, an advantage, so to speak. You have less work to do, I would say, but the players that will replace him are champions. We are playing against Real Madrid, that has a team made up by champions. So we'll have to pay the same attention, and I hope that well, of course, Kylian's not only a football player, he is a man. I'm a great friend of his, and I hope that he can come back very soon and that he can be ready for the second leg, because he really deserves it. And I hope that he plays again so that he can do what he's the best at.
Ciao, buonasera.
Ciao.
In italiano va bene?
Ah, sì, sì.
Ciao Gigi.
So in Italian, is that fine? Yeah, sure. Well, I'm Donnarumma from Blue Sports from Switzerland. I would like to ask you, in my opinion, tomorrow, but next Tuesday too, the two goalkeepers can make the difference. And you are two of the best goalkeepers on a global scale. So I would like to know, what do you admire of Thibaut Courtois? What do you like from him, or something that you would, not what you take from him, but something that you like about the way he plays? Well, thanks for the compliment, first and foremost. I have a great relationship with Thibaut, and there's no doubt about the fact that he's one of the strongest goalkeepers on a global scale. I've always admired him, even when I was very young, when I was playing for Milan. He's always been playing at the top level. He has been among the best in class for many years. And I think that I have many things to learn from such a goalkeeper. So he has really performed at his top level for every team that he has played. And he's always been among the 2 or 3 best goalkeepers in the world. He has been there for many years. So this means a lot for a goalkeeper. And we hope that in these 2 games we can do our best too. And I hope that you have some room to score a goal, or a few of them. But of course, he's an amazing goalkeeper. And I always try to learn from him, even the way he plays, without many complications on at a mental level. And his history speaks by itself, and it says that he's one of the best goalkeepers in the world. And this is everything.
Por aquí. Has dicho, te he entendido.
Hello, you said that tomorrow Real Madrid is going to play against a young team and really willing to surprise. I would like to ask you, do you think that Real Madrid, what has happened to Real Madrid this season is that maybe it's not hungry enough because they've won many things, maybe they're more veteran than you, and maybe they're not as hungry as you are? No, I don't think that Real Madrid is not hungry, because to play for Real Madrid is not for everyone. I think that they deserve to be here. They deserve to wear this T-shirt. I don't think that it doesn't mean to be. I mean, it doesn't mean to be not to be hungry. Of course, there have been ups and downs, I would say, But we know that Champions League is a different competition. It is totally different championship, and we are ready because we know that we are going to play against a young team, but with great players, and of course Real Madrid players want to take their team to the final. We know that it's going to be a tough game, that we will have to be very much prepared when we've done so, because we have a great coach that helps us a lot in this sense. But we need to be able to control our feelings, because to play in this stadium is not easy. We need to be able to manage some situations, some emotions, and without any kind of doubt, we will find a young Real Madrid, but they will be hungry, of course, and they will want to have a good result for the second leg. Hello, Jaime Mateo for Dosis Futbolera. You are back in Santiago Bernabeu. You were here in 2022 with PSG, and it was quite a controversial time for you. What did you learn then? And do you really have that personal feeling of revenge to say, I'm going to play better than that day? Thank you. Well, yeah, there's no doubt about the fact that I've grown very much since that year, because I've played more games. I have much more experience, and this helps a lot. This helps you learn how to manage different situations. Of course, there's no revenge, because these are situations that can happen. These are situations that happen on the pitch that, of course, they can happen. The truth is that tomorrow there will be a different game. There will be a game with individual stories, so to speak. Our goal is to win, so that we can take City where it deserves, knowing that we have 2 games to play. And tomorrow, it will just be the first half of a very beautiful game. Thank you very much. Cheers.